It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Hey.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. I'm Anastasia Palacios.
Good morning. Happy Monday to you. I am Philip Simon.
And it is always a pleasure to be back in your company. We hope that you had a wonderful, cool weekend.
You know, it's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas. No doubt about it. The weather was actually great. I enjoyed that. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that. I also enjoy the rain. You know, I think I'm discovering this in my 40s that, you know, and maybe it's because the rain means you can't go nowhere.
There you go.
You're just watching TV, Godfrey.
There you go.
You know, so maybe that's what it was all about.
If you had plans on the weekend, the rain was horrible. But if you did want to catch a weekend at home, just kind of relaxing and enjoying the cool breeze, this was a good one.
It was a good one. Listen, I want to say again a very special happy birthday on behalf of Gay Hyler and all of the siblings of this wonderful woman on the side of us. Happy birthday once again.
Thank
You know,
you.
Mama always makes sure that I know that everybody knows that it was your birthday.
Yeah, you know, she's been such an awesome mom. And even when we were younger, she would put our pictures on the ZNS community page.
Really?
Yes, that people could tell us happy birthday. So she's consistent. So
Oh, well, she definitely want to make
thinking
sure
of
that
you
everybody
always,
knows.
Mummy.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Also had a little birthday get-together yesterday for November seems to be a very special month for birthdays. My
Indeed.
son's birthday is tomorrow. Happy
Okay.
birthday, Kemuel. So,
Happy
you know,
birthday, Kemuel.
had a little get-together yesterday with a lot of his friends running around Fusion and, I mean, literally running around Fusion. So the guys at the movie theater had to, because after the movie, all of them went down to the front.
Right.
And, you know, the big screen, and they're walking along the front there, and they're lifting up the bottom, and he's like, hey, hey, I'm like,
gee.
it's okay, I got him. You know, yeah, before we get ourselves in some real trouble.
Yeah, no, kids are awesome. They just have so much energy. My daughter, I had some friends over to just cut a cake with me, and she proceeded to backstroke across the floor. Our floor is not water, so how she managed to do this, I don't understand.
Well, you wanted to
you
create
know.
a water baby, right? So
Kids.
you got it. You got yourself a water baby.
But speaking of kids, though, and the holiday season, one of your other children is doing something very special.
Yes, so Kaylee Simon has developed this thing called Box of Smiles. You know, gonna have to probably just bring her on, right? And it's an interesting story that she can tell. But literally, on December 6th in Rawson Square, the National Tree Lighting Ceremony, they will present, she and her school, Lisa McCartney in Windsor, will present gifts to those who would have been affected by Hurricane Dorian, the Children's Emergency Hospital, Grandfully Home. Last year, they collected over 200 gifts.
Okay.
This year, the goal is 800 gifts. So it's just something that she came up with. She just feels as though every kid should have a gift at Christmas.
Such
and
a beautiful
since
spirit.
you know, she did ask. She's like, "Daddy, can we?" I'm like, "Whoa." You know, come up with your own initiative for that one. But a wonderful thing. Such beautiful spirits, beautiful hearts, and
Yeah, so I hope you guys will support. You can make sure that you donate it. Gifts can be dropped off at New Providence Community Church, which is on Blake Road, and gifts will be collected until December 2nd. So you have between now and then to drop those gifts off there. So congratulations, Kaylee, and happy birthday, Camuel. But we've got a great show lined up for you this morning. It's going to be quite busy, so we hope that you'll stay with us.
Yeah, Doctors Hospital is here. Dr. Pinto, one of our favorite doctors here on the show, he's going to be talking about the correlation between breast cancer and prostate cancer. I didn't know that there was really one. And of course, we'll be talking about real estate transactions with Providence Law.
Okay.
I could never get enough of that, but you know, Meredith and Natty will be here to give us a little bit more insight into those transactions.
Excellent. And then we've got Dr. Arian back. She, of course, endocrinologist. She's going to be making a special presentation this week for diabetes, so we hope that you'll stay with us for that. My good friend Gabrielle is back from Rev.
Oh boy,
And
it really is Christmas.
it really is Christmas because Rev is doing some awesome stuff, so she's going to talk with us as well. And speaking of Christmas, you all know what it means. Warriors in the morning. John Canoe is here.
Who in the morning?
Warriors in the morning. I'm always very clear with what I say
Okay.
as a One Family fan, but we're going to be talking with the chairman chairman of the JCNP this morning. And in addition to that, Zeta Phi Beta sorority has something very, very special happening as they approach 100 years. So as we said, it's a full show. Before we get to any of that, we're going to find out whether or not that cool weather is going to hang around a bit longer, if there's going to be any rain. Here's Godfrey Burnside with our first look at weather.
Weather at sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Star. Good morning, Bahamas. And your first look at weather at sunrise. Cool front moves through on Saturday, now exiting the southeast Bahamas. And we do have to the north of us an area of low pressure that's generating some swells across the islands from the northeast. And those swells can be up to 14 feet over the next couple of days. So we're asking you boaters and swimmers, those boaters to stay near port or in port, and the swimmers to stay out of the water over the next couple of days. Any weather today, look at a mix of sun and clouds. On the mild side, the chance of a few passing showers, high temperature reaching 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, we're looking at partly cloudy, again on the cool side, low temperature going down to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And some region highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados 83 and 79. In Jamaica, 78 and 72. In Trinidad, 83 and 75. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 82 and 70. Across North America, Atlanta, 54 and 37. In Raleigh, 53 and 37. In Miami, 75 and 60. Dallas, Texas, 68 and 44. And Toronto, Canada, 37 and 30. And yes, those cool temperatures hang around for a little while. We have another cool front moving here sometime again on Tuesday, a weak one though. Just trigger of a couple of showers, of those cool temperatures can maintain until Thursday. Your warming trend starts on Friday. So the temperature daytime will be in the upper 70s at daytime, the upper 60s to low 70s at nighttime. That puts you up in your first look at the weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Star.
Well, you might know these ladies in blue and white, Godfrey. Thank you so much for turning it over to me, because they are the ladies of Zeta Phi Beta sorority, and they've certainly been felt here in the Bahamas for many years. They've got some exciting things happening now as they're approaching 100 years. And here to join me this morning to talk about it, we've got the international president. Now, that's a very big deal. The international president of Zeta Phi Beta sorority is here, Miss Valerie Hollingsworth Baker. And she also has with us a local this morning, Christy Cargill, who's the Bahamas State Director for Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Ladies, good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having us.
A pleasure to have you here with us. Welcome to the Bahamas, and I hope you've enjoyed your time so far.
It's been excellent.
I'm sure. With the sisters that you have here, I'm sure you had a really good time.
Yes, I have.
But also have been committed to service. You guys just came back from Grand Bahama, right?
Yes, we did.
And what was that experience like?
Well, for me, it was a very humbling experience because we started off wanting to come because we were coming here for a celebration. Mm-hmm. And of course, when the storm hit, we were so concerned about our sisters here that we wanted to do more than just come for a celebration. We wanted to come and we wanted to be able to help in whatever way we could. Mm-hmm. So we brought many goods, items that were needed. We brought them in our suitcases. There were about 70 of us, and we all had extra suitcases and brought things down. Then we came and we packed, and then we went to several of the senior homes, and were able to give these goods to those that were really in need, because this was more like a relief mission also to help.
That's awesome, and I think when we think about what sisterhood and service represents, right, which is core tenets, I'm sure, of Zeta Phi Beta, that it's so important that we continue to give back. Has there been any other things that you guys have been doing as an organization to assist in the effort?
Yes, well, the local chapter in Grand Bahama, Beta Alpha Mu Zeta, they were the ones who organized the packing party and arranged for us to deliver those items. We also went last month and we did the same thing, and we partnered with Rotary, and we donated items and went around the community and, you know, talked with people. But we received an overwhelming support when it came to hurricane relief. So it was fitting that, you know, we still tied it in. Our international president was here in January for our international executive board meeting, and at that time they donated $25,000 to the Ranfilly home. So also on this trip we went back to the Ranfilly home. We donated items there, and then we also unveiled our mural that we went on site and we hand painted some of the residents also helped us with that.
That is awesome. Congratulations on that $25,000 donation. You know, the Ranfley home has been so phenomenal throughout this process, and they got so many of the victims of the storm there. And so that's beautiful. I'm sure that people really enjoyed having you. As you guys continue on with 100 years, though, something very special is happening here, and you guys have become a state.
Yes.
Explain to me what that is all about.
Well, Zeta Phi Beta is split into different states and regions, and in the beginning we were attached to Florida. However, now Zeta Bahamas has grown. We have 3 chapters, a graduate chapter in Nassau, our undergraduate chapter at University of Bahamas, and then our chapter in Freeport. And when our international president came in January, she saw all of the work that we have done, what we were capable of, and she trusted us enough to stand on our own and become our own state.
That is phenomenal, and I'm sure very huge for your presidency overall to create an entire new state based on what's happening here.
First in the history of the sorority.
What was your vision like when you decided that this is what you wanted to do?
Well, coming here in January, I wanted to bring the National Executive Board to another side. And we've never been overseas to actually have executive board, and I really wanted to do that. So, and plus, where we're coming from is cold.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. So
yeah,
this is helpful.
It's really exciting to come someplace where it's nice and warm.
Right.
So when we got here, we just met so many beautiful sisters, and you can see how hard they work. And it's been 43 years since it started for them.
Wow.
And after 43 years, I thought with everything that they had done and all the hard work, and you could see it, that they deserve to be able to stand on their own, because there are so many of them, and they're just such wonderful individuals that I just couldn't just let them just stay with Florida. I wanted them to be able to be independent so that they can continue to grow and flourish. And I'm just so proud that I was able to do that, because I know that they're in good hands now.
Yeah, and so as I guess as head of the state, in this regard, you really have a lot of responsibility now. What are some of the big changes that will happen now that you guys are on your own?
Well, all of the chapters would report to me. We'd be able to have our own state conference, our own state meetings. When we travel to our regional conference and our national conferences, we will have our own delegation. Next year, you know, we celebrate 100 years. We're celebrating in January and June in D.C. When we go in June, we have over 40 sisters that will be going representing the Bahamas.
Excellent.
So we are excited and we are ready to go.
I'm sure you are excited. I'm not a member of Zeta Phi Beta, I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, but I know what this means.
Yes.
And so I'm very excited for you guys, and I know the impact that Zeta has had here, especially amongst our young people, and your very thriving university chapter. So this is really exciting news. Okay, so let's talk 100. 100 is a big deal. Any very special plans that we should be made aware of?
Well, we are going to be descending on Washington, D.C. in January on the 15th. Of course, our anniversary is January 16th. We're going to start off at Howard University, where it all began, and from there we're going to continue on through the weekend. Especially one of the highlights of that weekend in January is the final Womanhood Empowerment Summit. We have a major list of panelists who are coming from all around to discuss women's issues, the voices of women in 2020 and beyond, things that we really need to galvanize behind, you know, because there are a lot of important things coming in for next year besides just us gathering. And then, of course, in June, we're going to end off, because we're going to go back to Washington, and we're going to finish off our celebration with many major events, with our galas, with our luncheons, and of course we have as I call it, a cavalcade of stars for Zeta, who will come down and do entertaining for us.
Excellent.
We have our major headliner, Mary J. Blige. She's
Hello.
going to come.
Yes.
I feel her already.
Listen,
so, you know, those
that
are the
is
kind of
exciting.
things that we really are looking forward to, because we're just very fortunate that we are able to bring our undergraduates. We're going to have many of our seniors that are over 90 that'll be there. This is a time that they've all been waiting for. So I'm just so happy that we're going to have I'm going to give them an epic
I'm
event.
sure you will.
Yes.
Well, President Hollingsworth Baker and Head of State, Bahamas State Director Christy Cargill, thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Thank you for your donations to the Manfully Home and to Grand Bahama. And just looking forward to seeing how they will celebrate here as well, because I know these ladies can make it happen.
I'm
Oh,
sure
yes.
they're going to turn it up here too.
Indeed. All the best to you.
Thank you so very much.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Good afternoon. First response. How can I help you?
I've been in an accident on West Bay Street. Can you send someone to help?
Yes, ma'am. A first response team will be there in 15 minutes. Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine, but a bit upset.
We're glad you're not hurt. Please, try to relax. Our team will take care of everything as soon as they arrive.
First Response provides immediate on-site service and support from the scene of an accident through the claims and repair process. And it's free to all Bahamas First insured drivers in New Providence, every day for any type of accident. If you drive and want First Response on your side, call 321st or visit bahamasfirst.com for the name of an authorized Bahamas First agent. First Response can't prevent an accident from happening,
But it can certainly ease your mind when it happens.
We get up early every morning to offer safe and dependable service. Where quality service is paramount. An excellent travel experience is priority. Connecting the islands of the Bahamas to the world. Bahamas Air. We don't just fly here, we live here.
Welcome back to the show. BRCA is the name, and it stands for Breast Cancer Associated Gene. We have the good doctor back in the house, Dr. Gregory Pinto, urologist at Urology Care Bahamas, to just give us a little bit more about this inherited gene and talk about the link between prostate cancer and breast cancer. Welcome back, Doc.
Thank you. Good morning, Bahamas. And I must say good morning to my daughter, Gia.
Of course, Gia. Of course, of course. We learn something new every single time you're on the show. And we've talking quite a bit prior to the segment about this particular gene, BRCA.
Yeah, so that is a breast cancer associated gene. I think a lot of the general public will hear about it in relation to women with breast cancer.
Yeah.
So we actually, because we have such a high incidence of breast cancer in this country, and not just a high incidence, but a very aggressive form of breast cancer that usually affects women a lot younger than other counterparts such as Caucasians or Asians or Hispanics. We've actually looked at the genetic profile of our women. So we actually do gene testing. We're looking for this BRCA1 and BRCA2 gene. So if you have, for example, the BRCA1 gene for women, you have probably a 55 to 65% chance of getting breast cancer by the time you're 70 years old. That's extraordinary. But we also have to look at how does it relate to men. So that gene, the gene itself is not going to cause you to have cancer, whether it's breast cancer or prostate cancer. It's actually prevents you from getting, it's a gene suppressor of cancer. So if you have a mutation, that stops the gene from suppressing cancer. So that's what puts you at risk. So there's BRCA1 and BRCA2. For BRCA2, if you have that gene mutation as a man, you could have an 8 times increased risk of getting prostate cancer in your lifetime. So if you're aware of that, if you get the gene testing, if you have a strong family history of breast cancer in your family, you have to be more diligent and possibly be a candidate for gene testing so that you know that, you know what, in your family, all the men have a very high risk of getting prostate cancer. And I also want to, a lot of people don't realize, men can get breast cancer as well. So if you have that gene mutation, you're also at a greater risk of developing breast cancer as a man. Although it's extremely rare for men to get breast cancer, because if you have this gene mutation, you yourself have a much greater risk of developing not just breast cancer, but also prostate cancer, pancreatic cancer, colorectal cancer. The list goes on, even melanomas.
I mean, you talk about this gene and, you know, it being, you know, inherent in you know, families. I mean, is this something that's just abnormal? I mean, here in the Bahamas, I mean, is there a certain prevalence that's just unheard of?
Well, I think it starts with we have a small population, an isolated population on these islands where there's a small gene pool.
Okay.
So if there is a mutation, it stays within our community. We don't have a lot of people from outside marrying in. So because of our small gene pool, I think that makes it to be more predominant. So breast cancer, prostate cancer, there is a strong link. So if you have a family history of breast cancer, and in many cases there's strong family history of breast and prostate cancer, it's a good idea to actually do genetic testing.
Okay.
We also have the greatest risk and other factors for our Bahamian men in terms of African ancestry.
Right, right.
If you look at what is the greatest risk of you developing prostate cancer in your lifetime, it's actually being of African ancestry.
Okay.
So usually 1 in 8 men worldwide will develop prostate cancer in their lifetime. But 1 in 5, 1 in 6 men of African ancestry. In the United Kingdom, 1 in 5 men of either African or Caribbean ancestry are going to develop prostate cancer in their lifetime. It usually hits them about 6 years earlier than their Caucasian counterparts, and it's a lot more aggressive. So you can talk about cancer not being prejudiced, but there's actually a different prostate cancer that affects black men.
Okay.
A more aggressive form, the one that affects us earlier in life. That's why we have to be extremely diligent in picking it up early. If we can pick it up early, the cure rate is excellent. So of all the cancers on this earth, prostate cancer is probably one of the easiest to actually cure. The 10-year survival for early organ-confined prostate cancer is 99%. So you can rarely say that for any other cancer on this earth. So you don't want to think of prostate cancer as a death sentence. It's actually the opposite. But if you just at the age of 40 get a PSA prostate specific antigen blood test, we can pick up prostate cancer early and we can treat you and give you an extra 20, 30 years on this earth.
Well, I mean, well, let's talk about treatment, cure, and prevention. I mean, once it's been detected, what's the treatment, and is there a cure?
Very much so. So surgery doesn't even have to be part of the treatment. You have either radiation, you can have brachytherapy, which is placing either low dose or high dose radioactive seeds into the prostate gland. You keep your gland. All it does is those radioactive seeds kill the prostate cancer cells themselves.
Okay.
There's high food, there's high intensity focused ultrasound. So there are so many different treatment modalities, at least 4. You can, even the surgery itself, you can do the open, more old-fashioned method, you can do it laparoscopically, minimally invasive, or you can do it robotically with the Da Vinci robot. So there's so many different treatment modalities. Even we're picking up prostate cancer so early these days that we can do another treatment modality called active surveillance. So we can actively surveil you until your cancer becomes clinically significant. So we can pick up cancer so early, in such low volume, such an early stage, that it's of no consequence to you.
Okay.
In many cases, we can surveil you for 8, 10, 12 years before we need to cure you.
When do you start surveilling? When should somebody
if you have
do the test?
Strong family history, if you have first-degree relatives who've been diagnosed with prostate cancer earlier than the age of 50, if you have the BRCA gene mutation in your family or you've been tested for it and positive yourself, you need to start at 35. But in the general population, we need to at least, with our annual physicals, get a PSA blood test.
Okay.
It's almost unheard of to get prostate cancer in your 40s, unless you have a very strong family history or a genetic predisposition. But the norm is you're going to get prostate cancer in your late 50s, early 60s. But we want to know what the trend is.
Okay.
If you're in that very small select group who's going to get prostate cancer in your early 50s, we want to know from year to year, what is your PSA value?
Okay.
So we're not just looking at your PSA value in isolation. We want to know what the trend, what is the time, what is the change over time.
Okay.
So you can still have a normal PSA and still have prostate cancer, but if you had a great jump from one year to the next, that would mean that let's do some more investigations to make sure you don't have prostate cancer.
All right, good, thank you. The BRCA1, BRCA2,
yes,
that would be breast cancer associated gene. Doc, thank you for dropping the knowledge.
Thank you very much.
All right, Dr. Gregory Pinto, Urology Care Bahamas. How can people reach you?
I have a website, urologycarebahamas.com, and my main office is Centerville Medical Center, which is 68 Collins Avenue and 6th Terrace.
Okay.
Number there is 326-1929.
All right.
Thank you.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Incudus is a shared workspace company that provides services for professionals, freelancers, anybody that's in need of a turnkey solution for a private office space, a conference room rental, or part-time office space service. One of our main services that we provide to our members is high-speed internet access. There can be up to about 50 members within our space utilizing the internet and the Rev Voice services. And Rev has done an excellent job of dedicated, reliable, high-speed internet service.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
Do you want to know more about the scriptures, the early Christian church, its teachings, suffering, other religions, the authenticity of the Bible? The Anglican Theological Institute is for you. Enroll in a 3-year certificate program. Classes are conducted from Nassau and Freeport on Saturday mornings. Don't miss a class. Stay connected anytime, anywhere, with high-speed internet. Contact us at 603-2481. Visit our Facebook page. Pick up an application form at any Anglican church or at Addington House on Sands Road. The Anglican Theological Institute is for you.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Well, we've been telling you all month, and it's because we're very, very serious about helping those of you with diabetes, that of course it is Diabetes Awareness Month. Last week, I had the opportunity to speak with Dr. Ariane Davis-Simmons, and she's back this morning. She's also brought with her stem cell specialist, Dr. Alejandro Mesples. Both of them are from the Doctor's Hospital, and today, again, we're having a conversation on diabetes because we cannot get enough of it. I'm telling you, just in talking to her in the commercial break, I learned that vitamals had more sugar than Coke. Y'all, this is amazing information. I hope that you're using it to transform your lives, but we're going to continue on now. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning.
A pleasure to have you back with us, both of you. And we heard a lot about this last week when you and I spoke. And on Friday, we did an entire show on diabetes just to get people really clear on how important this, this issue is. But I want to talk more about this stage called pre-diabetes. What happens in this space?
Okay, so pre-diabetes is the stage before diabetes. Usually it's when you have a fasting sugar between 100 and 125 or an A1C of 5.6 to 6.4. At this stage, it's important to be aggressive in terms of lifestyle changes, losing 7.5% of excess body weight, participating in regular exercise at least 150 minutes per week in order to try to normalize those blood sugars, and if unable to do so, starting pharmacotherapy at an early stage to prevent progression of diabetes.
And how is it diagnosed? Just you would go to the doctor and they would take just a regular sample and then determine?
So it's usually checked on, like I said, blood sugar, so fasting blood sugar testing. You can do an oral glucose tolerance test where your doctor will give you a sugary beverage and then 1 hour and 2 hours later will check your sugars to see how your body's handling sugar in response to sugars. And then also by doing an A1C, which are all blood tests.
Okay. Now, whether at the pre-diabetic stage or at the higher end, which is full-blown diabetes, how does it work with making sure that the patient is being taken care of for diabetes, but that any other areas interacting with other parts of the medical sector? So whether that's vision or kidneys, how do you kind of work with other doctors for the treatment of that patient?
So first we talked about lifestyle, and then secondly, for patients who have diabetes, there are annual screening tests that they should be doing, that their doctor should be sending them for. So if you have diabetes, you should have a dilated eye exam so that the eye physician, the ophthalmologist, can look behind the eye and screen for pre-diabetic changes, diabetic changes, or full-blown retinopathy in order to prevent blindness. In regards to the kidney, you should also be having a urine test, so microalbumin creatinine test to see if you're spilling protein into your urine. So these are screening tests that your doctor should do periodically to look for signs for early kidney disease.
Wow. Yeah, I hear it, and we just take it for granted because we know so many people that have diabetes, but these things are really serious and can lead to so many other negative effects. One way that people can get treatment, though, is through stem cells, and I think this is so cool as a Bahamian to be able to talk about the fact that we already have patients doing stem cell treatments for diabetes, so that's actually really cool, and Dr. Mesples is here to talk more about that. How do you use stem cells to treat diabetes?
Yes, we are working with this new treatment. This treatment is a bone marrow stem cell transplant. And we can use this this treatment with many patients with diabetes and complications like critical limb ischemia with very, very good results. Because the patients improve very much the blood sugar controls, they decrease the insulin daily dose, decrease the A1C, and it's very easy for the patient, family, and doctors to control this patient after treatment.
Excellent, excellent. And how does it require multiple sessions? When you get to the sessions, are you like injected with the stem cells? How does it actually physically happen?
The treatment is very easy. We need to increase the number of stem cells into the bone marrow. We use medication to increase this number. 4 days after this stimulation, make a bone marrow puncture and extraction of the bone marrow in operating room with doctors, with many people, and immediately the IV infusion of this bone marrow of this sample. The patients need 2-3 hours before treatment in recovery room and go home.
Wow.
It's very easy for the patient.
I mean, this is really cool. And obviously for you as somebody that takes care of people with diabetes, this type of treatment seems pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's cutting edge.
Cutting edge stuff. All right. A procedure like that, what is the process for us to kind of get it started? How expensive would it be? How do we like kind of contact doctors to learn more about actually getting involved with the treatment program?
Yes, we need to, of course, analyze the lab test of these patients before include the patient in this program. The program actually is free charge for patients from Bahamas.
What?
No charge for patients, yes.
Wow.
Because Dr. Hospital understand that this treatment is a good option.
Wow.
And the patients need to help. And actually it's no charge for patients from Bahamas.
No charge for patients from the Bahamas. That might be blow me out of the water more than the Vitamalt and the Coke. That is really big. So of course I want to encourage people to reach out to doctors, see if they're a fit for the program, because no charge is big news. The other thing though that we were talking about when you were here last time, Marianne, and I thought that this was really cool, was the new technologies that are available to kind of not have to stick yourself every day to draw your blood. You got to be talking about that at the lecture this Thursday, right?
Correct.
So give us some more details on the lecture.
So some of the new diabetes technology, we didn't talk about last time, but insulin pumps. So it's a device that you wear that gives you a hourly dose of insulin so that you don't have to do the multi-dose injections with your long-acting or short-acting insulin. And then you also have the sensors, which we talked a little bit about last time. You have the CGM, which is called continuous glucose monitor. It's a device you wear for 10 to 14 days, and you don't have to prick yourself. So you can check your sugar every 5 minutes, or you can use a flash CGM where it talks with your device, your smart devices. So your Apple Watch, your phone, and so just no pricking. So it makes life a lot easier.
I mean, all of this technology, of course, available. And this week, Thursday, the lecture will be at what time?
At 6 o'clock at Doctor's Hospital.
6 o'clock at Doctor's Hospital. Make sure that you come on out. You can learn some more about all of these diabetes treatments. Thank you so much for joining us, doctors. Really happy to have you.
Thanks for having us.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Why should you get Trio from Rev this Christmas? Cue the music. In addition to TV and phone, you get more internet, like 75 megabits per second, and a free Wi-Fi router that you can access up to 2 phone lines on. And we're giving you a backup battery, in case you know. And if you get Trio now, you get entered automatically into our $250,000 cashback Christmas draw. That's 250 customers with a chance at $250,000. Just call 601-8992 or email us at trio@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
We get up early every morning to offer safe and dependable service. where quality service is paramount. An excellent travel experience is priority. Connecting the islands of the Bahamas to the world. Bahamas Air. We don't just fly here, we live here.
I always wanted to come back to the College of Bahamas. I wanted to be a faculty. When the opportunity came for me to be Vice President of Operations, I said, well, let me try that first. It makes me proud because I was here before. I feel as if now I'm sort of like a beacon for those students who are here to say, hey, listen, I can actually be a Vice President. I can actually be one of the big leaders at the university. I'm Ronnie Stevenson, and this is my UB.
Apply today at www.ub.edu.bs.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're at the halfway point on this marvelous Monday.
Marvelous Monday indeed. She is Anastasia Palacios, and I am Philip Simon II.
Good morning, Wendell.
I got so caught up talking with Dr. Pinto after the segment about, BRCA and prostate cancer and just learning more details about it that I missed watching your segment with Dr. Simmons and
Dr.
Alejandro.
Mesnes, yes, and this treatment that they're doing with stem cells is actually free.
Free?
It's free.
Okay.
So apparently, not everybody qualifies for it, but right now it's free. So I think it's something that people should really look into because they've been having some excellent results in turning those numbers around by injecting these stem cells. And so, stem cells, the conversation has been going on for some time, and there was some debate about it. But really happy to know that we're on the cutting edge of that type of medication here in the Bahamas because stem cells can really do a lot.
It's amazing. I mean, we've heard so much about stem. I mean, we're learning from ourselves. I mean, essentially, this wonderful body that God is, given us has all the answers, I believe. Has all the answers. But, interesting all around in terms of where we are, and the impact, again, that technology and being able to create and look inside the human body has, just advanced all fields, not just medicine, all fields.
Yeah, no, it really is a great time to be alive, certainly. And if we continue along this vein, as we move into this new era of our life, which I really believe it is, this fusion of technology and human, we're going to see some major changes, and it calls us to be retrospective. It calls us to appreciate the spirituality of ourselves as well, while appreciating the advances that technology can bring.
I wonder if we're going to get to the Terminator stage, right?
Probably. I mean, if you think about the fact that people live by their, some of them by their smartwatches, right?
That's right.
And even the medication that she was talking about, new technology, has like a similar smartwatch app that kind of injects you itself. So the fusion of technology and human is quite real.
Wow.
Another conversation for another time, though.
We'll be sure to bring them here on Bahamas at Sunrise for you. But listen, we're going to be talking real estate transactions and mortgages on our legal aid segment with Providence Law.
Looking forward to those. I saw Merit those upstairs.
Hi, Nadia.
Hey, Nads. And in addition to that, we have Gabrielle Burrows. She's here from Rev. They're going to be talking with us about some special stuff they have happening this season. And, of course, JCMP, because who in the morning?
Congos.
Warriors. I did not stutter. That's Scotty Burnside with our second look at weather.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Star, and good morning, Bahamas. Your second look at weather sunrise. We do have a system in the tropics this morning, and that system is a broad area of low pressure, some 500 miles to the east-northeast of the northern Leeward Islands, and it is producing showers and thunderstorms that are disorganized at this time. That system has a 50% chance of developing in the next 5 days. We expect to be caught up with that cool front now that's moved over the southeast Bahamas and move towards the northwest. Elsewhere, tropical storm formation expected during the next 5 days. Then we have, for boaters, we do have a low pressure area to the northeast of the northwest Bahamas, and that generates some hazardous boating and beaches conditions for the next couple of days, and that's due to we'll have some rough surf and also the high risk of rift currents along those shores. Also for you drivers, you can have some sea spray coming up along the coastal region over the next couple of days. In your marine forecast, those winds today northwest to north at 15 to 20 knots, seas 47 feet over the northwest and central Bahamas, 10 knots or less, seas less than 3 feet over the southeastern islands. On Tuesday, the winds come more westerly at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet over the northwest and central Bahamas, north to northeast at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet over the southeastern islands. Then on Wednesday, those winds are north to northeast at 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet over the northwest Bahamas, and they are 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet over the central and southeastern islands. Your tides. You can expect a high tide 11:47 this morning. Next low tide will be at 6:23 this evening. High gain tomorrow morning at 20 minutes past midnight. Sunset 5:19 this evening, rises more at 6:29. UV index 7, your water temperature 82 degrees Fahrenheit, and the moon phase now moving towards the last quarter. Your extended look, another cool front moves through on Tuesday, and that'll bring a couple of showers along with it. Those cool temperatures will remain across the islands through Thursday. Warming trend starts on Friday. Low temperature daytime will be in the upper 70s at daytime, and the lowest and the upper 60s to lower 70s at nighttime. That puts her up in your final look at the weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Phil.
Thank you very much, Godfrey. Of course, we are near the end of the year, but of course, there's still so much to learn about real estate transactions and mortgages. And today we brought back the professionals, managing director, managing partner, Merit Store Providence Law, and Nadia Wright, partner as well. Welcome back, Nadia.
Good morning.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
I'm here too. Good
You're
morning.
here too. But listen, we're going to revisit the law this morning and talk to real estate and mortgages. Merit, one of the first questions that people always have is, can you buy real estate without a lawyer, and what is the risk that you take if you choose to purchase without an attorney?
The short answer is yes, you can, but you take tremendous risks. In our system, we don't have a land registry. A land registry wouldn't mean you don't need lawyers, but it would make it easier because you could go to the registry and you could look up the history of a title of a particular piece of land. We don't have that. And so the attorney is meant to assist you with due diligence to ensure that you can make sure that the history of the title is clean, there are no encumbrances, there's no judgments, orders that attach to the property. So it's very risky to do so without an attorney. Yes, you can, but you really need to make sure that what you're buying is the actual title and it's good and clean for the property.
Okay. And Nadia, under our legal system, when you buy real estate, does the seller have to prove that he owns the property, or is the risk all on the purchaser?
To a degree, the seller has to prove that he is the owner of the property. Section 3, subsection 4 of the Conveyancing and Law of Property Act outlines that a purchaser is entitled to require of the seller that they produce a history going back to a minimum of 30 years. Yes, and so it is then for the purchaser to have that title properly examined to satisfy him or herself that the property is free and clear and ready to be purchased.
Okay, all right. But most people obviously need financing to complete a mortgage purchase and therefore need credit from the bank. If you get a mortgage to help with your property, to help you buy a property, do you own it, or does, this is always the $1 million question, do you own it or does the bank own it?
Yes, yes. Most people feel they own it, and that's what they tell people. But technically, when you acquire land from somebody else, you will have a conveyance of title, which will be in your name, and then immediately you turn around and you mortgage the property to the bank, which means that you convey the property to the bank, legal title of the property to the bank. The bank is then entitled to hold those documents until you pay off the mortgage. Now, what you do have is what we call an equitable interest in the property, meaning that once you pay off the obligation to the bank is obligated to return and release the title to you. But
and,
for
and that doesn't happen until the last dollar is paid.
So until that mortgage is paid off in full, the bank is actually holding legal title to the property.
I mean, that's another way of saying the banks own everything, right? I mean, Nadia, so what legal options does the bank have if you fail to meet your obligation to make your mortgage payments, and can a bank get an order to forcibly remove you from your home?
So the bank has the option of invoking the first step, which is usually if a person has defaulted or is in arrears on their mortgage payments, the bank will have a demand letter issued, usually after 90 days.
Right.
After that time has elapsed and the persons have not honored the commitment to go ahead and make payments, then the bank will invoke legal action. Once legal action in the Supreme Court commences, there are usually talks still with the bank, but the bank, once that process starts, the bank usually carries it straight through.
Right.
So the bank is then before the court to obtain an order for vacant possession. If there are persons in the home at the time the bank is trying to secure possession of that property, then they can be forcibly removed.
When does that happen in the process? I mean, is that at the conclusion once it's reached Supreme Court level? Is that at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end?
Which part? The forcible
The
removal?
forcible removal.
That's at the end.
That's
at the
yes.
end.
Yeah, that's
so,
the
so,
last
so literally this could go on for a very long time and persons can still...
No, there's a finite period.
There's a finite period.
The court's order actually stipulates the time within which that order is to become alive. So the court would usually say to be enforced within 90 days or 120 days. That's the usual time period. Once that time period has elapsed, the persons usually would vacate the property, but if they do not, then they can be forcibly removed by the provost marshal of the court.
Okay, all right. Merritt, I mean, obviously, persons will run into difficulties from time to time, financially or otherwise. And of course, this could impact their mortgage payments, if they lose a job, or they have a financial challenge, illness, etc. What option, is it better to kind of go in and just have a conversation right up front with the bank?
Well, in our experience, it is. But I don't think the average Bahamian feels that way. You kind of, either you're embarrassed or you think, well, maybe they'll overlook it.
Right.
But they don't.
Right.
They're tracking all those things very
right,
carefully. So it really is in your best interest to go in and have a conversation. And banks are normally, whether you believe it or not, they're somewhat sympathetic, certainly initially.
Usually that's a not.
Yeah.
That people believe, right?
To trying to work with people to get over whatever the hurdle is, particularly if it's something that they feel is a legitimate concern.
All right. Now, did you pay a deposit to a realtor or lawyer for a real estate purchase, and are they allowed to spend your deposit? Are they supposed to hold it, until the transaction is completed or canceled?
So the deposit monies that money does not belong to the realtor or the lawyer. That money is to be held in trust by the lawyer or by the realtor. Once that money is in their possession, it should not be commingled with any personal money for spending. So it's supposed to be placed in a client's account. It should not be spent.
It should not be spent, and if it is, I mean...
If it is, then of course legal action could be brought against the lawyer or the realtor for recovery of those monies.
I think you've heard probably one or two instances of this in the news recently. I mean, so the penalty for spending a client's deposit, is it misappropriation? Is it a violation of trust? I mean,
it's all those things. As what Nadia said, legal action could be brought against those persons directly. The professional associations of which they are part, like the Bahamas Bar Association, you can file a complaint. It has led to the disbarment of attorneys. It is probably the leading area that causes attorneys to be disbarred, which is mishandling, or as Nadia said, commingling client funds with operating funds.
Wow, excellent. Listen, guys, thank you so much. A lot of information here this morning in Bahamas at Sunrise. Merritt Store Managing Partner, Providence Law, and Nadia Wright. It's okay, Merritt. Partner. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
This is Eddie, and Eddie's a change counter. This is Sean. Sean doesn't have to count change because when Sean purchases a plan with Alive, it's VAT inclusive. Keep things simple, just like Alive's all-new VAT-inclusive prepaid plans with more talk, more text, and even more data. So don't be an Eddie. Freedom simplified. Alive. Believe in best.
Good morning and welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Thank you so much for staying with us. Well, listen, Mama baked the Johnny cake. Christmas is coming, and that means the Junkanoo is coming too. It is that most anticipated time of the year. Very happy to have with us this morning the chairman of the Junkanoo Corporation, Dion Miller. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. Thank you.
Dion, a lot's been happening with the JCNP recently.
Yes.
We've been hearing some stories in the news. Have those issues between the JCNP and the minister kind of been resolved?
Yes, they kind of been resolved, and once again, I thank the Prime Minister for his intervention, but yes, they have been kind of resolved.
Okay, and so we are now on track and ready
We're
to
on
move
track.
ahead.
We're on the road to Bay.
On the road to Bay. On the road to Bay. Bay is only a couple weeks away now.
Yes, I think about 38 days.
38 days.
Oh,
I'm excited. I'm ready. Warriors in the morning, y'all know where my heart is, but I will continue to let the segment be fair. You see, we have all the Junkanoo groups represented by Kalek behind us. How are the shacks looking? People in the shacks, what's happening?
The groups are progressing well. Like you said, it's crunch time now.
Mhm.
Groups would have received their funding, so they're making their final preparations now. I visited a few Junkanoo practices last night. Man, listen to me. It's going to be fierce.
Yeah,
It's going to be really exciting, but the groups are progressing and they're getting ready for this battle on Bay Street.
Okay, all right. Do we know when an official lineup will be announced?
So the official line or order of entry will be held on December 7th.
Okay.
I think the venue is not set yet, so by December 7th, we'll know who will be getting that dreaded number one.
Okay,
That
okay.
number one.
All right, so December 7th, everything should be good to go. Could you give me a heads up on what the themes are? Do I have to wait
I
until
can't.
December?
You have to wait until the 7th. The groups will crucify me, but that's one of the biggest secrets in Junkanoo right now
Okay.
is what everyone is bringing, what the Valley Boys is bringing.
Okay.
And they have a lot of secrets and surprises, so I won't spoil that. I
Okay.
will leave it up to the groups to disclose on the 7th of
Okay.
December.
All right. So on the 7th of December, we'll finally get to know who's coming out first, and we'll
Yes.
get to know what our themes are for the year.
Yes.
When will tickets go on sale?
Tickets are actually on sale now.
Okay.
So tickets went on sale Saturday past, December 16th. You can visit our offices located on Frederick Street from 9:30 to 6 p.m. every day,
Mhm.
Monday through Saturday.
Okay.
You can also purchase Junkanoo tickets online,
Okay.
www.junkanoo.tix.com.
Okay.
A cool feature we have this year is that you can actually purchase your tickets online. So in years past, you could have only reserved your tickets online, but now you can actually purchase your tickets and you'll get an email. You print that email off and bring it to Bay Street, and we will scan your receipt and you will be seated.
Look at us making progress,
Yes.
man, with technology.
Yes.
All right, so that's good on that side, that we could just do something as simple as going to do it from our home computer
Yes.
and just printing it out. But what about making sure that the parade starts on time? Last year, we had some major challenges. There was that big roadblock happening. A lot of the groups were frustrated by that, and it caused major issues.
Yes.
In terms of the Junkanoo community and then for parade viewers, how are
Yes.
we making sure that we are on time and that the parade is moving as it should this year?
So what we did this year, we took a holistic look at the whole entire parade from start to finish. We walked the entire route as well. And so some changes we're doing is in terms of the pre-staging of the groups. So we will be utilizing the store side corridors, Frederick Street, Charlotte Street areas to stage group so that groups aren't necessarily behind one another.
Okay.
So in an event that a group has an issue,
Mhm.
that does not block up the parade. So we can go to Frederick Street and say groups can enter.
Okay.
So that's what we're working on. Another thing we did was we encompassed the entire surrounding all those corridors in Bay Street. We made all of that a part of the official parade routes.
Okay.
One of the issues that occurred last year is that a group, I won't call a group name, blocked costume, a huge piece blocked the parade, and there were no penalties for that.
Okay.
So there was no ramifications that happened and nothing happened. Now this year, if any group, costume or a group property blocks a parade, that group will be penalized.
Okay.
No one wants to be penalized in these
Yeah.
parades, so groups have assured us that they will be doing their endeavor best to ensure that they're not blocking the parade,
Okay.
and that this parade is a fast-flowing parade.
Okay, all right. Now, in some years, we saw entertainment in between the groups, songs and different things happening as we waited on groups. Can we expect that this year?
Yes, so you can expect some of the same. So we have some groups, we have a lot of fun groups, we have a few songs, we have some surprise, some giveaways happening. So like, our whole thing about this parade is we want to make it exciting.
Okay.
We know our customers, our paying clientele, the Bahamian people are saying that it's boring, the wait is long.
Okay.
So we're working really hard to close those gaps and to make it more entertaining for everyone.
So what time should we be there on Boxing Day? What
So
time will
Boxing Day parade starts at 10 p.m.
Okay.
So you want to be in your seats by 9 p.m.
Okay.
Like I said, we don't know who group is coming out first yet.
Mm-hmm.
We'll know on December 7th, but we want everyone to be seated by 9:30. So when the show starts 10 o'clock p.m. sharp, Boxing Day, we're good to go.
Okay. And then do we have a time frame for New Year's yet?
New Year's Day. So yes, New Year's Day will begin at 2 a.m.
Okay. And tickets on sale for New Year's as well?
Tickets are on sale now.
Okay.
Tickets are on sale now.
So we don't have no excuses. We could go.
No.
I want you to give me the website one more
No
time.
excuse. www.junknewtix.com.
And that's TIX.
TIX.
Okay, www.junknewtix.com, or you can visit the Frederick Street office.
Yes.
And people are there from 9:30
From
to 6
9:30
p.m.
to 6 p.m. every day, Monday to Saturday.
All right. Well, listen, December 7th can't come quick enough for me. Cannot wait to hear who's going to come out first and what the themes will be. We thank you so much for joining us this morning,
problem.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. Who dat in the morning? One family or nothing. We'll be back right after this commercial break.
Maybe you have Rev Phone with its tons of awesome and free features. Or you're watching great content on Rev TV. Or maybe you have our blazing fast internet. So you already know how good it is to have one Rev service. Imagine if you had all three. With Trio, you get all of our services for $99. And you get entered into our $250,000 cashback Christmas. So the question is, why don't you have Trio? Just call 601-8992 or email us at trio@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
One thing, two things, blue thing, old things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
Under the theme Success Beyond Self, Hubert Edwards Global presents Success Summit 2019, a power-packed lineup of inspirational, dynamic, world-class speakers, including Duquesne Dean, Shivago Lang, Dr. Kenneth Romer, Simone Bowe, Ethan and Dekel Quant, Ian Mora, Crystal Ferguson, Wellington Hepburn, Malachi Monroe, Polo Prosper, Rodney Bain, Victoria Mullings, and Hubert Edwards. Hosted by Chavez Brown. One full day of mind-shifting transformational success principles. November 30th, 2019. Super Clubs Breezes starting at 8 a.m. Your investment for this personal growth opportunity is $100 and $200 for exhibitors. Sponsors include Genesis Now, Cash and Go, Alive, Arawak Port Development, Summit Insurance, Next Level Solutions, Baloo's Jerk, and Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Tickets available at all Cash and Go locations. Success beyond self. You simply can't afford to miss this mind shift moment.
There is nothing as powerful as a chained mind.
Welcome back to the show. We're having a great time in the studio this morning. That's because Rev is back. Yes. You and us together. Gabrielle Burrows, Senior Public Relations Coordinator. Right there. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Looking like Christmas already, man.
Yes.
You come to bring the stuff. We're talking all kind of things this morning. We've had just a gang of you guys on the show the last couple of weeks, so we know something exciting is happening at Rev. But again, I mean, you see these advertisements all the time. $250,000, man. I mean, that's up for grabs.
Yes. Yes,
Tell
we're
us
giving
more.
away $250,000, or up to $250,000 this holiday season, and there's so many ways to win.
Okay.
So, you know, we have our existing cashback, which is monthly, every month. If you sign up for my account as well as e-billing, and you pay your Rev bill in full by the 28th, you're automatically entered to win. We made it, and then that's 50 winners usually win $200 each. Now, for the holidays, we've upgraded it to $400 each.
Okay.
So we're doubling everything to make it better, because actually, apart from the Christmas campaign, we're also beginning, come next year, that will be 25 years in the business. So we're starting our celebration early.
Which one is that called? Is that like silver? What is that, silver?
I think so. I think it's silver. But yeah, so it's a big year for us.
But customers, I mean, listen, you have to be up to date. I mean, that's the criteria.
Right. And then also now we've changed it a little bit for Christmas specifically. So if you sign up for Trio or pay your Rev bill in full, you're automatically entered to win. So you don't have to do the regular things. And so there's that, and we've been calling people in. So we got our cash machine where people have the opportunity to grab for cash. And so we're having pop-up events every weekend until Christmas. We were supposed to do one in Elizabeth Estates, but we got rained out, so we moved it to the mall store. But every weekend, customers are going to have the opportunity to grab for cash.
I tell you, so you can't go in there with a plastic bag and try to
No.
grab. No, okay.
No, there's a technique. Lots of people try to capture
Put
the
it in
money
his shirt,
in
right? Come with a turtleneck, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. But Trio, I mean, we've talked about Trio before, but Trio seems to be, I mean, it's a great moving target because you're adding new things to it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so Trio's best-selling product in the history of our business because it's a great product, and we've actually just made it even better. So I think we're on Trio 4.0 at this point. We just keep upgrading it. And the newest upgrade, literally hot off the press, found out Friday afternoon that we are going to be including NBA League Pass.
Live here on Bahamas at Sunrise. Godfrey, you hear that? You can watch the Lakers now.
Yes, and you know,
Yeah.
NBA League Pass is a package that's usually over $100 if you add it to your subscription. And this is just so you can watch every single NBA game that there is. And so now it's free as a part of Trio. And the good thing is, if you already have Trio, you just have to call in and you can upgrade and enjoy it.
Yeah, so again, summarize Trio for those persons who might be watching this for the first time. I don't know where they would have been, but Trio talks to...
Right, so Trio is a bundle featuring TV, phone, and internet. It includes HBO Go, the virtual number, like just a crazy amount of features, and it comes with a free internet upgrade.
I like that virtual number part of it. I mean, so again, this is a telephone number that you can also use. It's a U.S. number as well, a local number?
Right. So it's a VO, voice over internet phone, but you get a U.S. number that you can use to call, because it's one thing for your loved ones, you know, when you're calling them, it's still going to bill them that they're on an international call.
Right.
And so with the U.S. number or the Canadian number, you have a number where it's not going to cost anything to them.
I mean, that's perfect. I mean, that's also businesses, right? Or is that the part of the business in the box?
Right. Well, so for Business in a Box, again, now we've recently partnered with our sister company Alive to just create a new bundle for entrepreneurs. So, I mean, and that comes with a number of solutions, including, you know, remote phones, virtual numbers that people can use for their business. It comes with TV advertising packages, as well as our internet, TV, and phone, which everybody needs.
Nice, nice. Makes us all curious, right? Segue into Curiosity.
So Curiosity Stream is a great new network. If I had to compare it to something, it's kind of like TLC, but it mixed with Discovery, just for the curious among us. So if you're interested in science, documentaries, things like that, cooking shows, Curiosity Stream, we've just partnered with them. They are so excited. They're going to be sending down one of their personalities in a few months to have an event, and so you definitely want to tune in.
And of course, again, it's almost Christmas. I mean, we're just jumping straight past Thanksgiving, right? But I mean, you got a lot of Christmas movies already lined up. You know, this is different.
So, you know, a lot of people were bummed when we lost Hallmark, but now RTV, Channel 212, I think pretty much every other night until Christmas is going to be airing Hallmark Christmas movies. Yes, I watched on Saturday night, I guess giving up my inner single girl. But yeah, so it's been really good, and we have a lot of great holiday movies coming up. So.
Oh man, she did make you go there and spend all your money. But you know, how easy is it for persons to just sign up for these different packages?
Oh, you call 601-8992. That's our residential sales number, and somebody will hook you up. If you want to sign up for Trio, you can email trio@cablebahamas.com or residential sales at cablebahamas.com or sales@cablebahamas.com.
That's it?
Yeah.
Just call and start a conversation or email and somebody will get back to you.
Easy as that.
All right, great. Davriel Barrow, Senior Public Relations Coordinator. Senior, I mean, how's that possible?
Right?
It's just a title, right?
Well, I mean, no, the work goes with it, but it's great.
All right, Rev, you and us together. Watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Bahamas at Sunrise. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you again real soon.
See you on Friday. Make it a great week.
Bye.
Bye.